Hey friends, it's Allison with Allison Mullen Designs, and welcome, and hope you like tonight's project. I'm calling it If You Got It, Haunt It. So if you are watching for the first time, be sure and hit that follow or subscribe button depending on what platform you are watching me on. The main board I have pre-painted and with a base of yellow just to kind of give it a yellow moonish background. But the mansion, I do want to go over with what I'm going to do. I want to add a little texture to it. And I'm going to do that. If you've watched me before, you know I use salt wash, or there's another similar product by Tentico, I think it's called Fizz, that allows me to easily add some texture on here. So I want this to kind of look old and grungy. So we're going to add some texture. So I want to show you that, and then we'll let it dry and I'll come back and we'll finish it up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a layer of gray first and then let that dry, and then I'm going to come back with the black. Okay, so let's get this mixed up. Tonight I am going to use Autentico's Sea Salt Fizz. I like it. I like it just as well as, what's the other one? Salt Wash. I like them both. They have similar, they're a little different, but very similar. I'm not going to need a lot because this is not very big. So I'm going to just squirt out my, let me make sure. I don't know if I've used this color recently, so let me give it a little shake. While I'm doing this, I would love for you guys to drop a comment if you've never tried chalk couture before, or tell me where you're watching from. I always think it's so cool when I have people from other countries watching. Okay, so I got lucky and I mixed this up pretty good on the first try. So it's not going to be thin. It's going to be more like cake or brownie batter depending on how thick you want it. So you can see this is probably more like brownie batter, but I'm okay with it being thick. So I'm going to put just a little, this is our mats I get at Dollar Tree, and they just wipe off real easy. Let me get my board out of the way. They wipe off real easy when I'm done, and I can reuse them. You don't need a fancy brush for this. Let's see, I thought I had a chip brush here. Yeah. So I'm just going to use an old chip brush here. And you can almost hear it kind of fizz. But I'm just going to, now that's a little thick, so I'm going to take and spread some of that out. But basically I'm going to cover this with a thin layer, but I want it to have texture. I don't want it to be smooth. And it's okay if you don't cover every little space showing. Okay, so I got all of that done. It won't take long for it to dry because I didn't do it very thick. I've got a fan on over me, so it should dry pretty quick. But I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll come back and we'll do the second layer of texture. Oh, wait, I forgot one thing I was going to do. So I like to also add what they call a little dry texture. And basically I'm just taking some of this white, and I'm just going to sprinkle it in a certain area, well, kind of just randomly. And when I go to distress it, it's just going to give it a little bit more depth. So I will see you in a few minutes, and then we will continue on. Okay, welcome back, and now we are going to do the layer of texture with the black paint. And I have already mixed it up like we did before. This one's not quite as thick as the first layer, but that's okay. And I'm just going to do the same thing, pounce this on. Okay, we're going to set that aside, and we're going to move on to some of the other pieces that are on this project. And I'll let that dry while we're working on these. Okay, now the title is what we're going to do next. This is a cutout for the transfer, the reusable silkscreen, If You Got It, Haunt It. So it's basically an outline of that. Okay, now I'm going to do this in white. I thought about doing black, but I want to use on the transfer, I want to use this beautiful shimmer purple, and I think that's going to pop more so on a white background versus a black. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to just put out a little bit of white here. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to put my roller in a baggie so it doesn't dry out, just in case I have to. I don't think I need to do any more, but I just want to make sure. Okay, now I've got my makeup wedge. So this will probably need a second coat, so I will come back when I've got this coated, ready to do the transfer on, as well as my Haunted Mansion. We're ready to distress that. So when all that's dry, I'll be back. Okay, we are back, and my mansion is dry, I think, enough. And we're gonna do some distressing. So first, before I start, I wanna hold it up and see if you guys, can you see the bumps and the ridges, hopefully? And that's what's gonna create the texture. Okay, so here we go. I think that's a little better. So I've got a chisel edge putty knife. And so I'm going to just gently kind of go along the edges where those raised areas are. It's almost going to give it a, you've seen really old houses where the paint is flaking and chipping off? It's going to kind of give it that look. You want to be careful because some of the pieces of the mansion, Haunted Mansion, are a little fragile. So you want to be real careful with that. I love it. Look at it. Looks awesome. I may come back with some antiquing wax on it. I'm not sure right now because it looks pretty good like it does. Okay, so now let's go over to our letters. And everything feels good. So let's get our transfer. And I may have to do a little bit at a time since it's not all one piece cut out. Oh, I've got a couple of little ghosts there too. Let's see. Here we go. I'm going to slide them over and kind of get them on here one at a time. Okay. Okay, that looks good. This is the one I wanted to use, Shimmer Plum. This is a new jar too. Ooh, look how pretty. Now, I wouldn't recommend having a fan on like I do because it'll dry out your paste quickly, but this is a shimmer and shimmers do dry a little slower. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it on and hope I can get this done before it dries on here. Let's get this off. Oh, that purple looks so good. Oh, I forgot that one. Oh well, I'll do it next. Okay, now we'll get this last part. I'm going to lift this up. Okay, this back on the backer to wash after I am done. Okay, we are ready to put it all together here. Okay, now I didn't talk about the backer board. This part will not come with it. It would only be the transfer, this and this, okay, unfinished. This is just beadboard. It's leftover shiplap wall from my she shed. So, but you don't have to use that. You could use just about anything. You could use one of our magnetic surfaces and then take it off. But I love how it turned out. I love the yellow in the background. I think it just adds a lot to it. And I'm going to add a hanger, a bow or something, and it'll be all done. So hope you enjoy this project. Remember, if you're interested, just comment supplies or bundle, or you can check the link on my bio or on my website. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.